Hey guys, it's Alyssa from AlyssaNalani.com. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, as you saw from the title, I'm going to walk you through my planner and journal stack for 2026. This is one of my favorite videos to make towards the end of the year. I love planner season. I love planner stack videos. I love seeing what people are using. It gives me inspiration and motivation as we anticipate a brand new year and quarter, and it's just so much fun. So if you are like me and you like to binge this kind of content, then you're in the right place. Let's get started. As always, everything that I can link is linked in the description box. So if you see something you like, check out the description box first. And if I've forgotten anything or you have any further questions, please feel free to leave me a comment and I'll be happy to help as soon as I can and to the best of my ability. Now, last year I did my planner stack and my journal stack in two separate videos, but because of how I am approaching my planning system moving forward, I decided to put them both in one video, and that'll make sense to you as we move forward. Now, I don't want this video to be too terribly long, so I'm going to do two things. Number one, I'm going to give you a brief overview of my approach in this video. I'm going to explain my method and how I am going to be using the books that I have chosen. But if you want more of a deep dive, I have a whole page with a blog series on my website that you can check out. There are 8 parts to the series. that look at each like a whole foundation and a system. So it goes way more in depth than I will in this video. And if you have any questions, then you can leave them in the comments of those blog posts and I'll be happy to talk more about them. And I might do more videos about them as we, move forward into the future. But that's where all the depth will be. In this video, I'm going to keep it brief. The second thing I'm going to do is do 3 flip-through videos of 3 of the books that I'm going to show you in this stack. So if you want to see them up close and personal, look out for those videos and I'll go more into detail of how they're set up and how I'm going to be using them. For now, let's talk a little bit about my method. Now, I've been doing this planning thing for quite some time, even before I had a YouTube channel, which I have now had for several years. And over the years, I have tried several different things. I have iterated and reiterated my planning system. I have experimented with different planners and tools. I have failed several times at many things. And while I haven't used every single planner on the market, because that's virtually impossible, I have gotten a pretty good sense of how my brain works on paper, what I need in a planning tool, and what typically does not work for me. But one thing I've been thinking about a lot this year is the fact that it's not about having the right planner. I think that there are a ton of really, really great planners on the market. I would pretty much say that most of your planners on the market are going to be a good planner and may potentially be a fit for you. That's not where I think the challenge lies when it comes to pursuing what we call planner peace. I think, at least for me, it has more to do with your approach and your mindset and your philosophy around not just how you're keeping information, but how you're showing up for life in general. Now, because I'm a Christian, I can't help but see everything through the lens of what I believe. And what I believe is the truth of the gospel. And what that means is that I don't just believe that Jesus came to save us from the penalty of sin, which in and of itself is an incredible thing. Don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to downplay that. But also we're saved from our guilt and shame. Paul says in the book of Romans that there is therefore now no condemnation for those who are in Christ Jesus. So when I place my trust in the faithfulness of Christ, not only do I inherit eternal life as a co-heir with Christ, I am also set free from the burden of shame and guilt. And the reason why I think that's important is because I think that we often try to cover our shame and guilt and our feelings of inadequacy with our performance. And that's going to manifest itself in at least one of 2 ways. On the one hand, the world is going to tell us that we have to hustle, that we're only as good as we perform, that we are only as valuable as what we produce. And on the other hand, there is language in some church cultures and faith traditions that tell us that we are only as saved or as good or as approved by God to the extent that we perform. That there are things that we have to do in order to gain favor with the God of the universe. And I'm here to tell you that neither of those things are true. There is no reality in which God wants you to stay on this hamster wheel of performance and doing and producing in order to earn his favor or appease him. There's nothing we have to do in order to prove that we are worth saving or keeping. All of that was taken care of at the cross. So for me, planning has less to do with which particular tools or books I'm going to use, as much fun as that is, and more to do with how I show up in the world based on what I believe about myself in relationship to God and what I believe He has called me to do with my life. It matters to me that I function from a place of stewarding what God has given me rather than a place of performance or trying to be good enough. Because here's the thing, none of us can do all the things all the time with the same intensity level for the long haul. There will be seasons where they're just busy, 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 go, 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 and you have to keep all of the plates spinning or else. There are seasons for that, and we've all lived through them, but that's not sustainable for life. We are not infinite productivity machines meant to function at a perfect 10 all the time. And I know a lot of us simply just want to do good things so that we can live a good life and hopefully make a difference and an impact in the world. But I think wisdom and the good life isn't just about choosing good things over bad things, but rather about choosing the right things over the good things. Not every good decision is for right now. Not every good thing or activity or pursuit is the right thing for right now. And I think that when it comes to choosing the right things over the good things, that it's not just about having all of your ducks in a row, but rather knowing which ducks matter for which season. You can't hold everything and do everything. Some duckies have to wait their turn, and that's totally fine. Saying no, saying not right now, is not failure to keep up. It's wisdom to know what to hold on to and what to release. Like I said, I have lots more to say on this. So if you want to go more in depth, then check out the blog series. But suffice it to say for now that all of these things were going through my head as I was thinking about my planning system. And what I came up with is what I call the Live Well, Stay Focused method. Now, if you've been with me for some time, you may recognize that I've been tossing this phrase around for a while, definitely before 2020, probably around 2018, 19, probably 2019, I think, is where I sort of landed on this phrase, live well, stay focused. I don't know where it came from. It just kind of like materialized in my head. And I've been playing with it in various different ways, haven't known what to do with it. I've been trying to apply it to certain things and it hasn't really quite fit anywhere, and it's been a part of how I'm thinking about branding and all kinds of stuff. It's kind of just traveled and floated around until finally, as I was trying to figure out my planning system together, I was like, oh, hold on, let's play with these concepts and let's see if this is where this can land. And so far, it's landed really well. Let me explain real quick. The Live Well, Stay Focused method is my way of making sense of how I want to not just plan, but how I want to approach life. And the basic structure of the method is 4 tools. Okay, editor Alyssa here. In an effort to not make this video too long, I did not explain the Live Well, Stay Focused method correctly. The method is not made up of 4 tools. It's actually made up of 2 parts, the philosophy and the system. The philosophy, which I don't talk about in this video, is made up of 4 parts, the foundation, the rhythm, the Live Well 6, and the anchors. The system is also made up of 4 parts, or 4 tools, and these are the ones I go over in the video, and they are the building blocks of my planner and journal stack. All right, back to the video. Okay, now we're getting into like the actual practical stuff. 4 tools: a planner, a diary, a guide, and a playbook. A planner, a diary, a guide, and a playbook. And here's how they function in the system. Number 1, planner, self-explanatory. I need at least one planner to help me with things like schedules and tasks. Okay, so I need a planner tool. Second one is I need a diary. That is also self-explanatory. I need a place where I can reflect and process my thoughts and emotions. The third one is the guide, and that is where I would keep long-term information as reference material for things like scheduling and project management and so forth. The last one is the playbook, and this one's a little unique, and I've actually tried different versions of this over the years. And what I've landed on is that the playbook is where my brain goes to play. And it's where the stuff of planning happens. In other words, brain dumping, project management. I may not be able to list out all of the things that need to be done in order to complete a task that is on my planner. But in my playbook, I can write down all of the ideas and the elements of a project and take the notes and so forth. So that's all in one place. So it's all of the things that have to happen in order for the tasks to be done. I don't know if that makes sense. That's the best way I can describe it. I will be flipping through my playbook in another video, so stay tuned for that. And you can read a better description of it in my blog series. So those are the elements of my Live Well, Stay Focused method, and this is the framework I had in mind when I was choosing my planner and journal stack. That's enough preamble and introduction. Let's go ahead and start talking about the actual books. So I'm going to do the planner stack first, and then we'll talk about journals. Now, I would have to look to double check, but this might be one of the shorter planner stacks I've had in a while. I just have 4 books, as you can see, which might be for somebody else quite a bit, but for me, historically, this is pretty good. I've definitely used more in a year. So we're going to start at the bottom and work our way to the top. First, we have my power sheets. For those of you who've been with me for a while, you know that this is a standard in my planner stack. I went with the navy floral. It's either navy blooms or navy floral. Is what this cover is called, and it is gorgeous. I really, really like it. This is what I'm using for goal setting in 2026. I've loved it for a long time, and it's just such a pleasure to use. I will say that this time around, I'm doing it a little bit differently. I mentioned sometime last year in a video that I was thinking about maybe approaching New Year's resolutions a little bit differently moving forward. Because to be honest, even though we traditionally tie New Year's resolutions or resolutions and goal setting to the new year, which makes total sense, where I'm at here in the States, winter is when I want to just kind of hunker down and be cozy. I want to drink hot cocoa and watch movies and journal and read good books. I don't necessarily want to start a brand new gym routine or, like workout routine or, start new projects and things. I want to be wrapped up in a warm blanket and do cozy things, not start new things. And I think that's what winter is for, honestly. Whatever winter is, wherever you are in the world. When it's cold and things, the world is kind of asleep, I don't want to have to start something new. Springtime and autumn actually are the times where I feel invigorated and like I want to start new things. The winter, when it's cold and I want to be cozy, is not it. And the summertime, where it's hot and I just want to stay indoors and just maintain, is also not it. I truly naturally feel invigorated and excited during spring and fall. So when it comes to my power sheets, I haven't 100% decided on this yet, but I am strongly considering, I'm like 90% convinced that I may not do my prep work until spring. So I'll finish out my 2025 power sheets, and then I will start using like January and February in my new power sheets, but I won't do prep work and start considering new goals and projects and things until probably March. January, February, March. Yeah. So towards the end of March, so that as we get into the second quarter, starting with April, I'll have my marching orders for the new year. And that feels really weird because that's not the way this is set up. But honestly, I feel like giving myself that permission to just be cozy in winter. I think that's what I need, and it's what my brain wants. And then in the springtime, when things are starting to wake up and where I naturally feel more excited and invigorated and ready for new things, I'm gonna just lean into that and let that happen. So that's something different that I'm gonna be doing for my power sheets in 2026. I will keep you posted. Let me know what you think about that, because I know those of you who watched that video where I talked about that last year, a lot of you responded with feeling the same thing. And so let me know what you think about that, if that's something that you resonate with and might even try next year as you're thinking about your goal setting for 2026. I'd love to know what your thoughts are. So that is my goal planner for next year. Next, we have the season by season daily planner, also from Cultivate. This is going to function as my work planner, and I'm really excited to both set it up and use it. Okay, so these are the only 2 books that I purchased from a planner company. I didn't buy anything else from anybody else, even though, oh my goodness, I was so tempted because there's so many great planners out there and they're pretty and I wanted all of them. But I kept it together because this time I decided to do a little bit of DIY. I decided to go back and try some bullet journaling, which I have not done in quite some time. That brings us to my everyday planner. Now, earlier this year, I moved into a traveler's notebook and really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. But as I was thinking about how I want to do things in 2026, and I was thinking about my Live Well, Stay Focused method and my needs and all of that, I thought, I'm going to go out on a limb and try bullet journaling again. And not only do I want to try bullet journaling again, I want to try it in a big book. So instead of going A5, which is what I typically would choose for a bullet journal, I went and got a B5, which is quite a bit bigger. This is just a B5 journal that I found on Amazon. If you're interested, it is linked down below. It has a lot of pages. As you can see, she is quite large. She's a chunky book, and I love it. I cannot tell you how much I love being in this book. I've decorated it. As you can see, it was just plain black when I got it. So I decorated it. I just went in my stash and threw a bunch of stickers on it. I covered it with packaging tape, which is what I used to do when I was a kid in grade school, in high school. And it was so much fun. Younger Alyssa was just jumping for joy. So I've set this up as my planner and playbook. What I really love about the method that I'm working from is that each of these tools, your planner, diary, playbook, and guide, can all function in 1 to 2 tools. You don't have to have multiples to do this. So while I do have my goal planner and my work planner, technically these functions could happen under one roof, so to speak, okay? The only reason why I decided to separate my work stuff from my regular planner is because this is going to last me the entire year, whereas this, and I want to have the trajectory of it, not the trajectory, what's the word I want? I want to have the record of how the entire year went in my work planner. Whereas this one, I expect to last me about 2 quarters. So, and we'll see, I'm not exactly sure if that's going to work out, but that's what I anticipate. So I want the record of my entire year of work, whereas this one, I don't mind having for a shorter amount of time and then archive it and then start a new one for the rest of the year. So this is my everyday carry. Yes, it is big for an everyday carry, but so far I'm loving it. And what I mean by that is I've already started it. I started it in the fall. So this is going to run me for fall and winter. And then I expect to set up another one for the spring and the summer. Hopefully that's how this works out. And if I could get that rhythm down for my everyday carry, it'll be perfect. So fall and winter, and then spring and summer. I will be doing a flip of this book in another video if you want to check that out. But this is, like I said, the combination of my planner and my playbook. So I have spreads in here that would be what I would include in a playbook tool, and then I have spreads in here that function as my planner tool. So again, you can do multiple things under one roof. The only thing that I would keep separate from the 4, or in the 4, yeah, in the 4, from the 4. Anyway, the only one that I would separate out is the guide, because that's more of a long-term tool, whereas the other ones are more short-term or for a season. So I love this so much. So much. It has given me space that I didn't know that I wanted. It is just, my brain really, really likes this. So anyway, check out the flip through when I have it posted. Last but not least, we have my guide. Okay, so I said that the guide is the one that's more long-term. This is an A5 journal. It's also got lots and lots of pages, and I have set this up to be, or to hold, long-form collections. So if you are familiar with bullet journal lingo, this is going to be a collection of collections that will last me for years rather than just a year or two. I will be flipping through this as well so you can see how I've got it all set up. But basically, this is reference material that I will use for my other planners or for task management and so forth. I'm not taking notes. I'm not scheduling anything. This is just for reference information. It's like my personal assistant in that it holds information that I'll need to accomplish other tasks. Again, it's just a very basic A5 journal that I got from Amazon. I put a few elements on it, covered it with packaging tape, and was good to go. And that is it. Those are my 4 books. Let's see if I can stack these again. We've got my Everyday Carry Planner / Playbook, my work planner, my guide, and my power sheets. And that is my planner stack for 2026. All right, now let's talk about my journals. And I just have 3 books. Very simple. This one is left over from this year. I'll carry it into next year because I have not filled it yet. This is a 4-minute journal, I think is what it's called, from Clever Fox. I really like this because it's a very, very basic setup. You just have... it's a day per page. In the morning, when you wake up, you write down what you're grateful for. You write down something you're excited about, something you're proud of, a positive affirmation, and then it's got just like a little prompt. It's different for each day. For instance, this one is what changed my life for the better, or what inspires me to be a better person, things like that. And then in the evening, you do your little entry where you write down or fill in, today I felt... fill in the blank, and then things that made this day great. And then there's a little quote at the bottom. Very, very basic. It takes just a few minutes. I keep this on my bedside, and for a while I was really good about filling it out every morning, and then I made the mistake of moving it from my bedside to like the kitchen or my desk in my office, and then it disappeared in like a stack of paperwork and books, and I forgot all about it. And so it's back at my bedside, and I need to restart the habit of writing it every day. So I'm going to carry this into 2026. And then we just have my 2 traveler's notebooks. So I purchased and moved into this traveler's notebook as my everyday carry earlier this year, I think sometime in the spring, and really enjoyed it. I love the feel of a good chunky traveler's notebook. There's nothing like it. I've got these little charms at the bottom, and they're making lots of noise, so I'm going to hold them. But I really love holding it. I love using it. I really love the traveler's notebook system. I think it's really great. But I wanted more real estate on the page, which is why I moved to a way bigger page size. But when I was putting my system together, I didn't want to abandon it. I really, really love this cover. So I thought that I would move my reading journal into a traveler's notebook. And so far, so good. Funny story, though, as I was putting this together, I decided to go on YouTube and search up reading journals and traveler's notebooks because I'm like, I've never done this before. Let me see what other people have done in their setups. And lo and behold, I have indeed actually done this before and made a video on it. So that came up on my feed, which was really funny, and I had a good laugh. But anyway, that was 7 years ago. I'm trying it again, and I really like what I have set up so far. I will be doing a flip of this in another video in case you're interested. But this is my reading journal. Last but not least, we have my original traveler's notebook. I've had this for a very, very long time. I've used it off and on. This is my Midori traveler's notebook. And I can't abandon this one either. I love it. And so I'm going to use this as my general, journal. So all the, innermost thoughts stuff that I don't want in my playbook planner is going to go in here. Dear Diary type stuff, the messy stuff, reflecting, memory keeping, all that kind of cool stuff will happen in here. So this will function as my main diary tool. And that's it. So if I were to place each of these books within the 4 categories of my method, this would be my diary. This is a combination of diary / planner because I'm also planning my reading in here. Okay, so this is a diary / planner. This is another diary tool. This is my guide. So I only have one guide and this is it. I will say that I do plan on building a digital version of this in Notion. So while this can hold lots of information, a digital version will be able to hold not only more information, but perform, more functions, obviously. So I'll have this and then I'll build out a digital one. And then when this is filled up, I'll start a new one. And then my digital version will have, all the information that 1 or 2 or 3 guides will have over time. So my guide tool. Then we have my work planner. So this is a planner tool. And then we have my planner / playbook, okay, in one book. And then we have my goal setting planner, which is a planner tool. So 1, 2, 3 and a half planner tools, sort of. And then 1, 2, 3 diary tools, a playbook tool, and a guide tool. I've covered all 4 of the categories from my method in these books, and so far, I really like the way I have it set up. Like I mentioned before, if you're interested in reading more about the Live Well, Stay Focused method that I put together for myself, please feel free to check out the links below. Also look out for the flips that I'll be doing soon for my reading journal, my guide, and my playbook. Those are the ones I'll be flipping through. And if you have any questions about any of these, feel free to let me know, and I'll be happy to help. But for now, this is my stack for 2026, and I'm really excited to start setting up what I have yet to set up and continue using what I have already begun, because some of this I started in 2025, and I really like it so far. I hope that this gave you some ideas, not just for what planners you might use or what tools you might use in the new year, but also some thoughts about how you might approach your planning in the new year. Let's approach this from a place of stewardship and gratitude for what God has given us, not a place of performance or feeling like we have to prove that we're good enough. I am going to put this down now because it's really heavy. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Have a great rest of your day, a wonderful week, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye-bye.